Welcome to Cluny. Our farm lies 4 miles south of Forres, next to the village of Rafford, and the farm goes from 280 feet up to about 650 feet above sea level. We're in a microclimate in Murray. It's quite mild and relatively fine weather. The farm extends to 1,040 acres, of which about 400 are ploughable. The arable ground tends to be between Cluny and Blackhillock, the two farms that make up what is now Cluny. Our soil types are fairly light, varies from quite sandy ground to medium loam, I would say. We have peaty bits, quite a bit of stone in the ground. The soils are not very deep, they're quite shallow. Cluny by its nature is quite a mixed farm. There's a lot of woodland, rough areas, and the biodiversity and environmental part of Cluny comes naturally. On the farm we carry 170 cows plus heifers and about 700 North England type mules. The cows are all spring calving. We start calving in March and try to be finished before the bulls go back out in June. The lambing is mid-April, and obviously sowing spring barley and fodder wheat or swedes and things. Springtime is by far our busiest time of year. We lamb from mid-April. Most of them are past in 3 weeks, but the tail enders are still kicking about maybe 5-6 weeks later. The bulls run with the cows for about 12 weeks, and we're heifers, which we buy, and we don't retain our own heifers to calve at 2.5-year-old. We wean lambs about 16 weeks. We scan usually about 190, it's been 185 up to 197% across the board, gimmers and ewes, and we generally are at 100, well this last year 163% sold. We grow about 165 acres of spring barley, and that is all for our own use. We grow the spring barley as a forage crop, really. Use the straw for bedding the cattle inside, and we barley beef the young stock and sell everything fat. Because we've got lighter soils, we're able to run the cows outside all winter, primarily because we don't have a steading room to take them into. The rest of the grass is on a rotation that we're rotating with the cereals and the forage crops, and the bulk of the farm is permanent pasture. We graze the fields on a rotational system. The cows are run in batches of about 35-37 cows. We tend to put them in a field, leave them there for a fortnight, shift them on. So it's not the paddock grazing, but it's kind of edging towards that on a field scale. The whole farm's production, although we grow cereals and other crops, the whole farm's output is on 4 feet. We sell fat cattle and fat lambs. Any of the crops grown is being utilised towards either the cows or the ewes. We're trying to fatten cattle fairly quickly on a barley beef type system, and that includes the heifers as well. They're all on a barley beef system. The calves are finished about, bull calves about 14 months old at about 400 kilos dead weight. The heifers are in exactly the same system, and they're finished at a similar sort of age, with 14.5 months for them on average, and about 315 kilos dead weight. We are farm assured through QMS and have been for a long time. One of the benefits of the quick turnaround of our system, the barley beef system, would appear to be going forward that the shorter the cattle and sheep are on farm to fat, the better your carbon footprint seems to be. So I'm hoping that is a benefit to our system, and we might be slightly ahead of the game. One of the things that was highlighted was our lack of buildings to hold anything really, cattle, feed, lambing sheds and things. So just as the Monitor Farm project finished in 2013, we had plans in and the foundations were being set out for a new shed, and since then that shed has been built, and we have built another shed over our cattle handling and sheep handling areas, which has allowed us to pen lambs up at lambing time under cover, which we struggled to do before. It was generally outside, and it has had an effect on our output as far as lambs sold, where I would say we're running probably about edging towards 100 lambs in front of where we were. We served time as a Monitor Farm from 2010 to 2013. The things that we benefited from during the Monitor Farm was other farmers' ideas, things they tried that did work and things they tried that didn't work. And I would say that we benefited probably more from the things we were told by other farmers than probably they gained from anything that we were doing. If the opportunity came along, I wouldn't discourage anybody for having a go at it, because it does make you think about what you're doing, and that's never a bad thing.